This movie could have been just another 80s action comedy about cop partners. But thanks to a charismatic four-legged actor, it became one of the first and most memorable films about a police officer and his K-9 partner. Movies Inside Out presents K-9 is a 1989 film about the complicated relationship between a hot-tempered detective and a stubborn police dog who has his own opinion on everything.
I don't want to have to mount you.
Why did James Belushi refuse the lead role for a long time? Which scenes were improvised by the dog? And how is this film connected to Steven Spielberg's Jaws? You'll find out all this and more right now. Let's go. The creation story. The story of K-9 began in the mid-1980s. At the time, one of the most popular subgenres in Hollywood was the buddy cop movie. Films about police partners with completely opposite personalities, who, over time, become friends. Some of the biggest hits in this category included 48 Hours with Eddie Murphy, Lethal Weapon with Mel Gibson, and Tango and Cash with Sylvester Stallone.
Just one question. How many cops use their day off finding ways to get their asses shot off?
Oh, shut up!
How many?
However, the executives at Universal Pictures realized that making yet another movie similar to hundreds of others wouldn't make sense. To bring a fresh twist to the beloved genre, they took inspiration from real-life police dogs and decided to pair the main character with a smart yet headstrong K-9 partner.
You're a hard guy, huh?
The film's title, K-9, refers to a specialized police dog unit. This code was chosen for a reason. The title, K-9, is pronounced exactly like the word canine. To write the script, the studio brought in Steven Seagal and Scott Myers. Although K-9 was their debut project, Universal paid them $1 million for their work. At the time, this made the script one of the most expensive ever written, with the film's total budget reaching $17 million.
Cheese and mushroom?
Like always.
Here, 7, right?
Yeah.
How about a napkin?
How about a tip?
The project's producers were brothers Larry and Charles Gordon, who had previously worked on Die Hard and other action films. The director's chair was eagerly taken by aspiring filmmaker Rod Daniel, who had already proven his commercial success with comedies like Teen Wolf and Like Father, Like Son. With the key creative team in place, it was time to start casting the film.
No, I'm not taking a partner.
Davis, take Davis.
Davis hates me.
Okay, Spencer, how about Spencer?
I hate Spencer.
Casting. The main contender for the role of Detective Michael Dooley was James Belushi, who had recently played a similar police role in the action film Red Heat, alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Origami.
Belushi's agent immediately offered him the script for K-9, but at first, the actor flatly refused the role because he had never worked with dogs. However, his agent practically begged him to take the part, clearly sensing the film's potential. Belushi had no choice but to give in and accept the offer. Later, he called this decision one of the best of his career.
You know, it was probably the best decision that agent ever made for me.
Finding the perfect dog for Jerry Lee's role, however, was much more difficult. The film crew spent about 2 years searching for the right animal and reviewed over 40 German Shepherds. The candidates needed to be not only intelligent, quick-witted, and charismatic, but also have a specific look. The filmmakers wanted a dog with a lighter-colored face, but most of the ones they found had darker fur.
Personal hygiene, you understand that? Here. Come on, this is uptown stuff, smell this.
Failing to find the right dog in the US, the team reportedly went to the breed's homeland, West Germany, and brought back 4 of the smartest and most similar-looking dogs. All of them were handed over to renowned animal trainer Carl Lewis Miller, who had just 12 weeks to teach them the necessary tricks. However, working with these foreigners wasn't easy. Although the dogs knew plenty of commands, they were used to hearing them in German. Miller had to not only train them, but also teach them English. How true this story is remains unknown. What do you think? Could animals really learn new commands in a completely different language in just 3 months?
That's great. That's really... How do you do that?
Well, first of all, you gotta give the dog a lot of love.
The opening credits of the film claim that Jerry Lee plays himself. But as you might have guessed, that's not true. The filmmakers simply wanted to impress audiences and make them more emotionally connected to the character. In reality, no movie relies on just one animal for filming. Training a single dog for all the necessary tricks would take too much time and effort, and if anything happened to it, production could be jeopardized. Still, K-9 had one primary dog, a 3-year-old German Shepherd named Rando. While most dogs understand about 10 to 15 commands, Rando was rumored to be capable of performing up to 150 actions. For some scenes, a stand-in was used, a real-life police dog named Coton from the Kansas City Police Department's narcotics unit. At the time, there was speculation that Coton was actually the main dog in the film. Fans were deeply saddened when they learned that in 1991, the dog from K-9 was killed in the line of duty, shot while apprehending a dangerous criminal. Rando, on the other hand, reportedly lived a long life with his owner in Malibu. By the way, Jerry Lee was named after the American rock and roll pioneer, Jerry Lee Lewis.
Look, let's get one thing straight. The woman is mine.
The role of Tracy, Michael Dooley's girlfriend, went to Mel Harris, who was starring in the popular drama series 30-something at the time.
Skills aren't your strong point.
I am. What are my strong points?
Yeah, not those either.
You're a liar.
You're a bragger.
Her then husband, theater actor Cotter Smith, was cast as Gilliam.
California people insist on meeting outside. If I were to work on my tan, I would have gone to the Bahamas.
Kevin Tighe was chosen for the role of gangster Lyman.
Dooley is yours. The girl is yours. A gift from me. Make as messy and painful as you want to.
That same year, he appeared in the action film Roadhouse alongside Patrick Swayze. The role of Michael Dooley's informant, Freddie, was played by John Snyder.
You set me up?
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, then what are you running from?
I need the exercise.
While his boss, Lieutenant Roger Byers, was portrayed by James Handy.
Dooley. Right now, Roger. Come on, take it now.
Don't push me, Dooley.
Take your best shot.
Lyman's henchmen, Dillon and Holstead, were played by Sherman Howard and Daniel Davis.
Yes.
I'm Jack Halstead, the owner.
Oh, Jack. Yeah, I was just going to take this baby out for a little test drive.
Do you have $70,000?
Before this film, all of these actors had mostly appeared in minor roles on TV and in movies. The role of Benny the Mule, another one of Lyman's associates, was given to Pruitt Taylor Vince, who was already known for his performance in the crime drama Mississippi Burning.
Expected to hit, Benny.
Oh, no, I never saw the guy.
No? Come on, don't get cute with me, Benny. This dog hasn't eaten since lunch. Yes.
Telling you the truth.
And later appeared in Jacob's Ladder and Identity. Sergeant Brannigan from the K-9 unit was played by Ed O'Neill, the lead star of the long-running sitcom Married with Children.
Yeah, there he is, best nose on the force. He could stick that snout in the wind right now and lead you to a stash in the middle of Tijuana.
Meanwhile, the maitre d' serving Dooley at the Del Coronado restaurant was played by Dan Castellaneta, who later became the voice of Homer Simpson and many other characters in The Simpsons.
I'm so sorry. Would you like me to read you the menu?
No, I can handle it.
The filming process. The filming of K-9 took place from August to October 1988 in the San Diego area and the San Fernando Valley in California. Some of the real locations used in the movie included the Hotel Del Coronado and the Golden Hill Cafe in the district of the same name. Animal trainer Carl Lewis Miller admitted that Rando learned commands incredibly quickly, faster than Miller could come up with them, and was even easier to work with than some human actors. It seemed like he could even smile on command, Miller recalled with admiration.
You got 10 minutes.
Miller also noted that Rando had an astonishingly multifaceted personality allowing him to portray different sides of Jerry Lee's character. In some scenes, he needed to appear stubborn and unpredictable. In others, a true professional, and at times, display an aristocratic demeanor.
You're trying to piss me off, aren't you? You're pissing me off!
Rando excelled at every challenge the trainer gave him, which is why he became the primary performer for Jerry Lee. He also repeatedly surprised the film crew with his professionalism and acting talent. For example, during one shoot, a stuntman playing a criminal unexpectedly fell and hurt himself badly. Rando immediately ran over to check on him, but as soon as the stuntman recovered and stood up, the dog snapped right back into character, barking at him as if he were still the bad guy. One of the film's most memorable moments, where Jerry Lee places his paw on Dooley's head as he tries to kiss Tracy, was completely unscripted. The dog did it on his own, and Belushi prayed that no one on set would ruin the unique take, as it would have been impossible to replicate. Surprisingly, the scene where Jerry Lee comes back to life after surgery was also unplanned. Rando improvised it, catching the entire crew off guard.
You asshole.
He was simply supposed to lie still, pretending to be unconscious, but no one had trained him to open his eyes at that moment. Fortunately, the director and cinematographer reacted quickly and captured the spontaneous moment, and the scene was rewritten and re-edited to include one of the film's most unforgettable shots.
I wouldn't take a sneaky, manipulative, lying flea circus like you anywhere, let alone Vegas. Vegas?
In the car wash scene, one of the real Jerry Lee stand-ins was actually filmed. However, before shooting, both the trainer and a representative from an animal welfare association ensured that the process was safe. To protect the dog, they replaced regular soap with a special formula that wouldn't irritate his eyes or skin.
That concludes today's lesson on Don't Screw with Michael Dooley. Class is dismissed.
Like human actors, the dogs worked with safety precautions in place. For instance, in the scene where Jerry Lee jumps across a 2-meter wide gap between buildings, mattresses were secured just below the camera's frame to prevent injuries. Animal welfare representatives were also on set to ensure that none of the dogs were harmed during filming.
Jeez, I would have cleared it if you had to bark.
James Belushi was also full of praise for his four-legged co-star, joking that Rando stole the attention of every woman on set and completely outshined him in their shared scenes. Interestingly, Dooley's line,
I'm a party animal. I love parties, Ken.
along with Belushi's facial expression in that moment, was a tribute to his late brother John Belushi, referencing his iconic character from the 1978 film Animal House. In the dinner scene at Lyman's house, a butler can be seen serving the guests. He was played by Michael John Robert Gill, who wasn't an actor, but an actual professional butler. He supervised the catering team on set, and had previously worked for British actor Lawrence Harvey. After filming the dinner scene, all the food was served to the actors and crew. The film's original score was composed by Miles Goodman, known for his work on Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, starring Steve Martin. Additionally, K-9 featured the main theme from Jaws. As well as songs like Eco Eco by the Dixie Cups.
My grandma and your grandma sitting by the fire.
I Feel Good by James Brown.
I feel good.
Oh Yeah by Yellow. And Car Wash by Rose Royce.
There ain't no telling who you might be.
Movie mistakes and errors. The movie K-9 didn't escape its fair share of bloopers and inconsistencies. But does that stop us from enjoying the adventures of Dooley and Jerry Lee? Let's take a look at some of the funniest ones. Not So Literate Detective. In the police station behind Dooley, there's a chalkboard with writing on it. The word homicide is misspelled as homicide. Apparently, even police officers have spelling issues sometimes. The magical towels. In the car wash scene, one of the workers is holding a blue and a pink towel, but a few seconds later, in a close-up, he's suddenly holding 2 pink towels. Either he's a master at swapping them fast, or the script added a little magic.
You're shoeless.
Yeah, well, you're a towel.
You're a towel.
The waterproof jacket. In the same scene, Dooley sits in a soaking wet car and leans back against the seat. But when he leans forward, there's no wet spot on his jacket. Looks like he's not just got a reliable partner, but also some unique clothing. A background with a mind of its own. After leaving the bar, Dooley starts scolding Jerry Lee while standing in the same spot. Yet the background behind him keeps changing from shot to shot. The tea trick. At the hotel restaurant, Jerry Lee can be heard slurping tea through a straw. But in the next shots, the tea level in the glass hasn't changed at all. Sound swap in a video game. The game Dooley plays in the car is Manhole, released by Nintendo in 1983. However, some of the sounds it makes are taken from Super Mario Bros. Additionally, Dooley describes the game incorrectly.
Guy moves, jumps into the clear, I shoot, and...
He says he's throwing a ball, missing, and losing. But in reality, the game is about moving a platform to stop characters from falling into a hole. Maybe he's playing some secret version we don't know about. Universal steering wheel. Dooley plays this game twice, once in his personal car at the beginning and later in a police car. Strangely, the steering wheel looks exactly the same in both vehicles. Crew reflections. In the final scene, when Dooley drives to Las Vegas, the film crew is clearly reflected in his sunglasses. Looks like the team wanted to be in the movie too. Can't miss such a moment. Chameleon dog. Throughout different scenes, Jerry Lee's fur color changes. This isn't surprising, since as we mentioned earlier, 4 different dogs played the role. This isn't a mistake, it's creative casting. Breaking K-9 training protocols. Professional dog trainers have pointed out several mistakes in the way Dooley interacts with Jerry Lee. For instance, their first meeting should have gone very differently. Instead of stepping into a police dog's territory wearing a training suit designed to provoke aggression, Dooley should have met Jerry Lee outside the kennel in his regular clothes. Looks like someone decided, realism, never heard of it.
Oh, no, you don't!
Unrealistic search scene. Experts also found the warehouse search scene unrealistic. Police dogs are trained to search for contraband under specific conditions and without extra people around. Additionally, the dog should have been wearing proper gear, and the officer should have been in uniform rather than a casual suit. Plus, in real life, an officer would never take an unfamiliar dog on a mission. Police dogs need time to bond with their handler to work effectively. Seems like this mission skipped all the standard procedures. A realistic bar fight. On the other hand, the bar fight scene could have happened in real life. However, not every trained police dog is capable of restraining multiple people at once. Interestingly, experts say that if you ever find yourself in a situation like this, the best tactic is to stay still. Police dogs usually don't chase unmoving targets.
Could you call off your dog?
I'm sorry, what?
And many are trained to release people who stop resisting. But honestly, who remembers that in the middle of a panic? These are some of the funniest bloopers and quirks in K-9. Which ones did you notice? Share your thoughts in the comments. Deleted scenes and funniest moments. Unfortunately, the creators of K-9 never released any bonus material, such as blooper reels or deleted scenes. We can only imagine how many hilarious moments with the 4-legged actors were left on the cutting room floor. However, it is known that television broadcasts featured alternate versions of Lyman's death scene. In one version, Lyman runs toward a helicopter and shoots Jerry Lee before being shot by Dooley. In another, he shoots the dog first and is then gunned down by the helicopter crew. In some countries, K-9 was also slightly edited. For example, the British theatrical version was shortened by 21 seconds, removing the description of a Colombian necktie.
I got a present for him, a Colombian necktie. Know what that is?
The censorship board found it too graphic and brutal for a film they intended to rate as a mild 12+. And now, let's revisit the funniest moments from the movie.
Insurance, I want some insurance. Are you sure this dog here can track down drugs? Yeah. I don't know, Brannigan. It looks like he's on them.
I think we should think of one together.
Oh, how about
Jerry? Jerry's a good name.
Yeah, Jerry, that's great. I'd like to get a pair of those. You know, I need some sunglasses. Is this your car? How much you pay?
Hey, what's going on in there?
In here?
Some big dog is humping my reefer.
No!
Worldwide recognition. K-9 premiered on April 28, 1989. The film debuted in 1,677 theaters across the United States, earning $7.4 million during its opening weekend, making it the second most popular movie after Pet Sematary. In total, K-9 grossed $43.2 million in the US, a solid result at the time. It performed even better internationally, bringing in an additional $35 million. This brought the total box office to $78.2 million, making it a major hit.
What do you want now? You want a medal? Huh?
Despite being well-loved by audiences, this buddy cop comedy never received any major award nominations and received mixed reviews from critics. Experts criticized the formulaic and unrealistic plot, but praised the charismatic partnership between Belushi and Rando, as well as the dog's entertaining stunts. The movie was released on VHS in early 1990 and later on DVD nearly 17 years later on October 24, 2006. Interestingly, K-9 was one of the first American police films to make its way into the Soviet Union. It was widely distributed on bootleg 5HS tapes with single-voice dubbing and quickly gained popularity among Soviet viewers, who were less familiar with Hollywood action comedies. Just a few months after K-9's release, another cop and dog action comedy hit theaters, Turner and Hooch, starring Tom Hanks and a Bordeaux Mastiff named Beasley. Also in 1989, a sci-fi spin-off pilot titled K-9000 was filmed. It followed a police officer and a scientist working together to create a cybernetic police dog. However, this project was developed by a different creative team with a new cast. No networks were interested in turning it into a full series, so the pilot was later released as a standalone TV movie, which failed to attract much attention. Interestingly, James Belushi, who was initially hesitant about working with dogs, enjoyed the experience so much that after filming, he adopted 2 German Shepherds, Mac and King. These dogs later played Jerry Lee in the direct-to-video K-9 sequels. Given the commercial success of the first film, it was only a matter of time before producers decided to continue Dooley and Jerry Lee's adventures. However, the sequel, K-911, wasn't released until 10 years later, in 1999. This time, Dooley and Jerry Lee were assigned new partners, Sergeant Wendy Wells and her Doberman, Zeus. The film failed to impress both audiences and critics and skipped theaters entirely, going straight to video. The same fate awaited the third installment, K-9PI, released in 2002, where Michael Dooley retires from the police force and starts a private detective agency. Despite the film's popularity, K-9 had little impact on the careers of its cast and director. Most of the actors, including James Belushi, continued working in lesser-known and moderately successful films and TV shows. Director Rod Daniel later helmed another dog movie, Beethoven's Second, before retiring from filmmaking in 2002 due to Parkinson's disease, which ultimately led to his passing in 2016. Since K-9's release, Hollywood has produced many films about human-canine partnerships, but thanks to the dynamic duo of James Belushi and Rando, K-9 remains one of the best examples of the genre. Even 35 years after its premiere, it's still a fun and rewatchable classic. Does K-9 rank among your favorite police and dog movies?